Cool. Hi guys, and welcome back to Reed's Readers with your host, Clinton Reed. Today's December 1st. And I just wanted to go ahead and do like a quick wrap up here of the books that I read in November. Which I had a really good month, 1 DNF, and I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 books, and out of those 8, only one was a 4-star, so I think that's really good. It's not what I set out to read this month, but I still read a lot. What with wedding planning and all that stuff taking precedent these days, I don't see a lot of reading going into the new year, which is why rules will change for the games. But I just thought I would go ahead and tell you guys what I read and my thoughts on them, because I now have read one of my all-time favorite books this month, and one of my most hated this month too. So let's just go ahead and start with the DNF. This isn't going to be some long, drawn-out video. It's just going to be quick and easy, and I have no idea what my hair is doing today. It's just, ugh. But my DNF is The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring, which you guys will see in the unhaul video. I was supposed to read this for a scary book for the card that I got. Supposed to buddy read this with Mel and her group. Quite a bit of us DNF'd it. And I know for a fact me and Corey were very angry, like the writing itself made us violently angry. And it's not angry because we're supposed to be angry, it's angry because we can feel the author's opinions coming across. And I would check out something by Sarah Faring in the future, because I know this was her debut novel, and I might check out something from her in the future. So I might give her one more try. But other than that, this can go away. And will be in the unhaul video, because it's gotta go. I have technically 3 rereads this month, but technically only 2 count as rereads. When we get to that third, you'll understand. The first one I can't talk much about is The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. I was supposed to read it for a long book, so I accomplished that. This is the final in the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. I can't really tell you anything without spoiling Heroes of Olympus and Percy Jackson, so just the next one I had to read in the, in the order of the Rick Riordan stuff that we're reading. So I'm super excited to start reading some more in the Rick Riordan world, because we're starting to get to things that I haven't read. And I'm excited. Oh, you have no idea how freaking excited I am. So 5 out of 5 stars. This is still one of my all-time favorite series. I prefer Heroes of Olympus over Percy Jackson. But that's just because I have some of my favorite characters in his universe are in this. And I just can't wait to continue on with everything else, because we're about to get to the Norse story soon, and I haven't read that one yet. And then we've got the Apollo series, which I've only read book 1, and I can't wait to continue, finally. Oh, thank you, Mel, for going on this journey with us, which I know we're doing a couple different journeys in 2022, so that'll be interesting. My next reread was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Allery's Sons. And I was supposed to read this for a historical, which 5 out of 5 stars. This is still one of my favorite queer novels. And as you saw in my TBR video, I will try to be reading his newest one. I want to read it as close to this as possible so that I don't forget what happens. But I'm super excited to continue on. But I think everybody knows what this one is, so I'm not going to really go into it. Because it's super popular and it's been around forever. And if you haven't read this, the audiobook is narrated by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I highly recommend. Again, 5 out of 5 stars. Oh, and that one, again, was for Read a Historical. Because I did that Believe-a-thon cards for November. Which, for those of you who like me doing the Believe-a-thon cards, in the new Read the Rainbow, Believe-a-thon has now got its own little slot just for the cards in purple, and I'm excited about that. Okay, the next one technically is a reread because I read this when it was in on Webtoons, but it's been far too long, and I did not remember any of these episodes. But I read the bind-up of Lore Olympus Volume 1, which is a webtoon series by Rachel Smith on Webtoons. This is a bind-up of her first 25 episodes of it. And this follows Hades and Persephone and their Greek story. I will state there are some trigger warnings, and what I liked about this volume is you got an entire content warning at the beginning for mental abuse, sexual abuse, toxic relationships, sexual trauma. And the artwork is one of the cutest things I think I've ever seen. And I was a big fan of this before. I don't remember these episodes, so I don't know if I ever really read the first or the beginning of it. So I'm excited for us to own all the volumes. And I need more Hades and Persephone in my life because the way that this ended kind of pissed me off. And I'm debating on if I want to continue with the webtoons or do I want to wait till volume 2, because part of me just wants to wait till volume 2 comes out. But 5 out of 5 stars. It's amazing. I highly recommend. It even has a deleted scene in the back. Yes, like episode 10 in the back. It's super cool. Again, 5 out of 5 stars. Now let's get into the new reads. And my only 4-star of the month was The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky by Mackenzie Lee, which is the novella between Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue and Lady's Guide to Pirates and Piracy. This just is a cute little novella following Monty and Percy from Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue and how they come together as a couple on this little island and all about their first time having sex. This just brought back my fond memories of Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I'm still debating on if I want to continue on with that series. I feel like I need to reread Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue because I DNF'd the sequel to Gentleman's Guide, so I feel like I want to give that one a second chance. Just really don't like Felicity as a character, so to decide if I want to finish this world. But 4 out of 5 stars, super cute, absolutely loved it. I don't remember what I was supposed to read this for because I took the card out. So, oh well. Next is another graphic novel, which I read this one for a book that has illustrations But I read Nubia, Real One by L.L. McKinney and Robin Smith, which is the next in the graphic novels for young adults from DC that I've been reading and absolutely loving all of them. I don't think I've given a single one below a 4-star yet. Actually, I think they've all gotten 5 stars so far. If you hear any noises, I think Sterling's taking a shower. But this follows Nubia, who, in a sense, is an Amazon and has the same powers of Wonder Woman. But she's African American. Or African, of African descent. Because I know they're in America, but I don't think she technically counts as an African American. Because she's a Themyscirian soul. And how she's raised by lesbian parents. And this just... oh, I love everything of it. And I want to read more about Nubia. This was my kind of... I've read things with Nubia in it before. But I think this is my first real introduction to her. Because this is the first thing I've ever read where it was her story. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of some of the illustrations were a little weird. But I still absolutely love this. And what the hell is on it? There's no telling. I highly recommend this if you are looking for an introduction to a DC character that you've never read before, or you're looking for more information about a backstory. This was fucking phenomenal. And does make my top 20 of 2021 list. So be on the lookout for that. Next was a huge shock to me on how much I loved this book. This is to read a short book. But that is The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakovic. Why can't I speak today? This follows Neil as he's a runaway. He ran away from his father, who's this murderous crime boss, and has been hiding out in this small little town. But then he gets recruited to be on, because he plays Exy, which I will say, this is one of those books that's really hard to explain, because the synopsis doesn't really do it justice, in my opinion. Like, it explains it, but it doesn't explain it, if that makes sense. This is about a boy named Neil who likes to play Exy, which Exy pretty much is if rugby and lacrosse mated together and their child mated with hockey is kind of the best way to explain Exy. But he gets recruited to go to this college. He's in hiding. He has a new name. And on this college team is someone who knows his real life. So he's hiding to figure out if he's going to be spotted or not. And all of his secrets come to light. Because he's hiding from his father, who will kill him. Which... there was a scene in this that made me so angry, and when a book can make me as angry as that did, it has to get a 5-star, because that anger was towards one character, and I wanted to beat the living hell out of them for what they did to another character. And these characters are like warm little fluff beans that need to be protected. Granted, you've got Russian or Germans on this that can protect them fucking selves, because some of these characters kind of scare the fuck out of me. But I loved this. I know a lot of people you either hate or love it. I fell in the love category, and I cannot wait to get to the sequel this month in December to figure out what the fuck happens next. Because that ending and that cliffhanger was like, what? Also, if you like audiobooks, the audiobook to this is really good. Now, the second to last book of the month was my favorite book of the month until I read the other. And this one was to read a 5-star prediction, which it was a 5-star. First, I didn't think it was going to, but that is Out of Character by Annabeth Albert, which is the companion sequel to Conventionally Yours, which are queer, nerdy romances. The first one takes place at a convention for, like, an Odyssey con, which Odyssey is kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering mated and had, like, a love child with, I want to say it had a love child with Pokemon, and that's kind of how you play it. But Odyssey is still not fully explained, and I'm okay with that, because it's not really the main preface of this. But this follows Jasper, who is one of my favorite characters from this world, and he has an ex-best friend who comes back into his life and asks for help to find some rare Odyssey, to help replace some Odyssey cards that he accidentally gambled, and he doesn't want to tell his brother that he got rid of his best cards on accident, which the way that they explain these cards is they're kind of like Exodia in Yu-Gi-Oh, if that makes sense. But it's this cute little rom-com romance between them two as enemies or best friends turned enemies, turned allies, turned to lovers. This also has the one bed trope at one point, and if you also like mysteries, there's this little, like, scavenger hunt that they follow in it, and they're just like little love beans. And if you like characters who cosplay in books, there's a lot of cosplay of Odyssey characters in this that are just perfection. And I need some more Annabeth Albert in my life, because both of these have landed on my top 21 of 21 of 2021 list, because I just can't not talk about them, because Jasper and Milo are just, I love them so much. I don't know if I love them or Conrad and Alden more. And that is saying something. I didn't think I would love this more than I would love the first one. But I kind of love them equally. And I need another one in this world, because I need more geeky, queer romances. If you have any recommendations for some very heavy, nerdy, like, conventions type romances that's adults that are queer, comment them down below. I'm mainly looking for male because I feel like I'm missing out on that, because you don't see that a lot, because I have seen some with female around, but I'm looking for more male recs for that. I don't care if it's written by a male or a female author. Male, female, non-binary, trans, whatever authors. I'm just looking for more recommendations that are somewhere in the vein of this. Please, thank you, because... And it also has my favorite sound of paperbacks. You can knock, and you can make that sound. Oh, that's music to my ears. Love these type of paperbacks. They're also super floppy. I just need to look more into Casablanca, because I'm figuring out that I really love Casablanca romances. because those are the ones who also did boyfriend material. So, yes. If you also have any more recommendations for adult queer romance, whether they're just rom-coms or some spicy, especially if they're mel, comment those down below. And I'm wanting to do an entire, I have a video idea for 2022 of reading some spicier concepts and more mel romances, so I can bring you some lists of talking about some amazing recommendations for those who are looking for that. I also would highly recommend this series if you're fans of Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall, or even Red, White, and Royal Blue, or any of Casey McQuestion's books. I highly think you guys would like this. Also, in the first one, there's just different artwork throughout it. This one, on the other hand, has moments of these little frogs that when you do it, they're jumping on the page on the side. And it's the thought that goes into these books is what? And now to the persistence, however you say it. My favorite book of the month, which beat out House of Cerulean Sea. And has now beat out the Green Creek series, as this is my favorite TJ Klune book I have ever read. And I finished it last night. And I read this one to read a book that features my favorite color, which my favorite color is cerulean blue and lime green, which both are on the cover. And that is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This is a story about a man who passes away, so it's about a ghost who falls in love with his ferryman. And it's about so much more than that as well. I like this little tagline up at the top. From masterful storyteller TJ Klune comes a life and death love story between a man who lives to help the dead and a man who died then learned to live. This book deals with really heavy topics of grief and loss and heartache and death, but puts it in a way where it's so authentic and real. And Hugo and Wallace are my favorite TJ Klune couple. I'm pretty sure Hugo in this and Arthur in House in Cerulean Sea and Elizabeth Bennet from the Green Creek series are my top 3 favorite book characters of all time. This book shattered me in ways I wasn't prepared for. I cried harder I haven't cried this hard from a scene in a book since The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner and The Brave by James Bird. And the scene in this book where they're talking about a certain character made me think of my sister and her loss. And I just realized I don't have the ring light on. Who am I? I set up the ring light and everything so that I could have the ring light on. Whatever. But this book, I want you to go into it kind of blind. And I feel like that's what is the beauty of TJ Klune books, is going in with just minimal expectations of going, this is a story of life and death between a man who lives to help the dead and a man who died, then learned to live. I feel like that little line is the best way to introduce yourself to this book. Kind of like Green Creek series, Gay Werewolves. House in Cerulean Sea is about a man who inspects a home for magical children and finds the meaning of life. I feel like those little lines are what you should go into the book knowing. Other than that, ignore synopsis, ignore everything else, ignore reviews, read it for yourself. And I feel like that's the beauty of where the magic of TJ Klune comes from. And why he is one of my all-time favorite authors. I know he's controversial, but it's more of, and I get where his controversy comes from with the House and Cerulean Sea. But I feel like he is an author everyone needs to check out. Because at least this one is one that I will be recommending for the rest of my life. Because I'm pretty sure this might have beat The Brave and The Serpent King as possibly as my favorite book of all time. I don't know if this has beat Heartstopper this year is the best thing I've read all year, because my love of Heartstopper, and you guys know my love of Heartstopper, but I'm still compiling that list, so we will see. But yes, read it, love it, or hate it, I don't care. But experience it, because I feel like everybody needs to experience this book at least once in their life. And this is a book that I will probably read every year. This and House and Cerulean Sea is just up there with like Red, White, and Royal Blue as comfort reads that I'm going to read over and over and over again. But yeah, read it. So those are the books. These are the 8 books that I finished in the month of November. And one horrible DNF, because I'm about to film an unhaul. So that'll be going there quick as day. But have you read any of these books? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Did I inspire you to read anything? And if I inspired you to read anything, I highly hope it's at least these 2, because Nubia needs to be told more, and Under the Whispering Door, more people need to experience that. And also the brilliance of Annabeth Albert and her just warm, cozy, queer rom-coms with a hint. She just goes a little hint of spice. She's like, bam. I'm just gonna put a little bit of spice. But that's all I've got for you guys today. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, might as well hit that subscribe. And if you made it all the way through my ranty video, because majority of what I read this month was queer, let us tally up how much of this amazingness was queer. At least these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books count as queer. There are queer characters in Blood of Olympus and Lore Olympus. You know, this is the first time it clicked in my head that I read 2 books with Greek mythology and both have Olympus in the title. Both have queer characters because Greek mythology. So if you've made it till the end of this video, put an emoji for a rainbow, because we gay here. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Remember, kids, always be fabulously yourself. And until next time, oh boy.